Good afternoon. Today is July 28th, 2021. Hope everybody's feeling well. I'm feeling all right. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the 8 mental dusts: miserliness, covetousness, hatred, self-love, enmity, or bearing a grudge, anger, greed, and arrogance. We are taught that everybody in the whole wide world has these 8 mental dusts. It's just to different degrees of how much dust we have. In Tendikyo, we are taught the service, morning and nightly service, and monthly service to help rid ourselves of the mental dust. And by doing things to benefit the community, like sweeping the road or something like that, that is sweeping our mental dust. Oya-sama said, take a broom and sweep the dust from our minds. Well, those weren't her exact words, but she meant that we should be sweeping to cleanse our minds. So with these 8 mental dusts, we need to make an effort to cleanse ourselves, cleanse our minds every day. And people go about it differently. In the Tendikyo members, we do the service, we do hinokishin, daily act of gratitude, osazuke, that's spiritual healing, and so what about non-Tendikyo members? How, if everybody in the whole wide world had these 8 mental dusts, how would everybody else clean their minds? Some people may deny that their minds are dusty. Well, to each his own, but if you think about it, everybody does have the feeling of miserliness, covetousness, hatred, self-love, or selfish love, I call it, enmity, bearing a grudge, anger, greed, and arrogance. So one can cleanse a mind by sweeping the house, sweeping the streets, sweeping. That helps to cleanse a mind. Also, drinking water. Water cleanses our minds. So as I drink water, I think that God is cleansing my mind, because God is the same as water, in that water cleanses or cleans, and God also does the same. God cleanses us and cleans us of the 8 mental dusts. The accumulation of 8 mental dusts will cause us to have a bad causation. For example, if a person is very greedy for money, he or she might go rob a bank. Some people do that. That is due to their accumulation of greed in their minds. It's not their money, but they want, to the point that they'll even break the law to get the money that they want. So it is a mental dust that should be cleansed before it turns into a bad causation. There's anger, in which, for example, if a husband is having an affair with somebody, then the woman might get very angry. Out of jealousy and anger, she may resort to trying to kill the other woman or even her husband. I mean, the accumulation of a mental dust to the point that it gets bad, it causes bad causality, and as a result, some bad things will occur. And for example, the dust of bearing a grudge. Some families, they will bear a grudge to the point that they will not speak to each other for a very long time, for years in some cases. So that should be a mental dust that should be cleansed so that there will be family harmony. For example, self-love or selfish love. One example is, suppose a mother has a child and another mother has a child, and suppose one mother is babysitting both the children while the other mother is away at work or something. And so the first mother, she, out of her selfish or self-love, will favor her own child to the point she might deprive the other child from food. She might discriminate, and so she might give her own child some healthy food, and then the other child some not so healthy food. Or her own child new and fresh foods, and give leftovers to the other child. That comes from self-love. It is rather difficult for me to go through all the 8 mental dusts and give you examples. So I will name them again, and you can get some ideas from what I'm trying to relate to you. Miserliness, covetousness. Oh, example of covetousness. That's when a married man, he will desire another married man's wife. That's covetousness. That's very obvious. So that is a seed of dust of bad causation if he has an affair. Covetousness, hatred, hatred resorts to violence. There are hate crimes. So you hear about a news and see it on the news. So hatred leads to violence. Self-love, enmity or bearing a grudge, anger. Okay, one example of accumulation of the dust of anger is killings. Someone is very, very angry at someone that they lose self-control. So there will be killing resulting from anger. Greed, I mentioned before, and arrogance. Arrogance is when a person looks down on somebody, even though they have no reason to look down on somebody. They're just too proud of themselves. That's arrogance. Well, I'll stop here, and I hope you got something out of this talk, and you will try to reduce the amount of mental dust and have God cleanse the mind. And I hope you do some deeds that will cleanse the mental dust that everybody has in the whole wide world. I hope I did not anger you from talking to you about the 8 mental dust. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy your day.